Well, when we put out the call for questions, you might guess we got thousands of responses. There's a lot of curiosity about the state of play in the Gulf. We got video, we got text, and we got a lot of people who just came to the site to bolster certain questions that they wanted to be sure would be asked. And selecting one that's sort of representative from the Gulf, let's go first to Kirk from Houma, Louisiana.
Mr. Dudley, my name is Kirk Sheremy. I'm a member of the United Houma Nation, which is the state's largest Indian tribe in the state of Louisiana. We have heard that you are going to make everyone whole. We have 6,000 families in the United Houma Nation that are now out of work because of this spill. Today I was on Grand Isle on the beach, and normally on the 4th of July week like this, we would have 1,000 people in the area that we were. There was not a single person on the beach today. How are you going to make everyone whole, and at what point do you close the checkbook?
So, Kirk, I was down in Grand Isle about 2 weeks ago, and I saw the oil on the beaches, and I saw it behind Grand Terre Island, and went out to Grand Bess and saw the oil in the marshes where the pelican rookeries were. I see the devastation that's down there. We're going to make good on the claims from individuals and businesses down there. Anyone who has been impacted, like you've said, should go to the claims offices immediately, file the claims. We're just have some documentation for it. We're writing the checks. We've written, as of this morning, $138 million of checks. So we are going to make good for it. We put aside $20 billion in an escrow account that will be used to pay claims, not only just for now, but for as long as the impact is there on your businesses. And that will be not only after we shut the well off, but this cleanup is going to take some time. So it's not a one-time claim. It's claims that will go through the months where your businesses are impacted. We also realize there's a seasonality of business down there. And the summer is when that's where a lot of the earnings come from. And we're going to take that into account and try to make people whole. We're there for the long term. There's no attempt to cap this. We haven't capped the well yet. In fact, it's hard to talk about a limit to claims, certainly before we continue to have this spill in the Gulf.
You know, those claims can come from an almost unimaginable range of people. And Kirk made the reference to, when does BP close the checkbook? You know, there are places in Florida that haven't even seen oil yet, but they've seen significant drop-offs in their business because of the anticipation that the spill is going to affect it. If you're a motel owner, can you say to BP, hey, last year I had 75, 85% of my rooms full. This year I had 20%. I think it's the oil spill.
If you could demonstrate cancellations, there'll be a track record and a trend line there. Take that into the claims sessions, centers around the coast. We've got 33 of those claims centers around the coast. We're transitioning the claims process to Ken Feinberg, who's one of the better known, in fact, he's probably the best known independent oversight of our claims process. He's coming in with a rigor and formulas of how these things are calculated. It is a little bit beyond our capability to maintain this, because we need that sort of expertise. He'll be looking at that. He'll make those determinations, but that's the intent, is to make sure that businesses have been impacted are reimbursed.
Lou writes from Pensacola, Florida, BP can promise the moon, but in the end, file bankruptcy and skip out on its unpaid obligations. Is BP willing to immediately transfer all the cleanup money, including what it receives from catastrophe insurance carriers, to the government now?
Lou, I don't think anybody wants or expects us to do that. BP is a very strong company in terms of its cash flow. It needs to have that strength to be able to fund these claims. And we're putting aside $20 billion over 4 years. We're going to securitize that with assets in North America. It can still be increased in the future. One of the things that is important, and the President said it 2 weeks ago, it is important to have a strong and viable BP. We need to have some certainty for our investments so that we can continue to generate the cash that will actually allow us to make good on our obligations and commitments and claims. And I think that's the better way to approach it.
But as you mentioned, the oil is still flowing. So your obligations are increasing even as we're sitting here talking to each other. Lou's trying to anticipate a moment where it just becomes too much for the company to bear.
Well, I think I believe strongly that that's not going to happen. I believe that we have, given the engineering talent that we have working on it, and you're here in the center today, the 100 different companies that are working here around the clock, we will find a way to shut this well off. And then we will continue to devote all the resources necessary through the Unified Command with the Coast Guard and the government officials to clean up the Gulf and restore it to the way it was. And having a strong BP is very important for us to be able to do that, and it will take years.